What is up? If you're watching this, that means you got another day. Welcome to the Gearbox YouTube house here in Huntington Beach, California. Now we are going to talk about the mods on the Mustang. So if you have a Mustang, or if you have any car for that matter, and you're wondering, what do I do with it? How do I get started? And how can I get crazy? This is the video for you. Now I'm going to go over all the mods in 3 different sections. Section 1 is like basically getting started. Section 2 is going to be I want to go fast. And section 3 is money is no object, my car is my personality. Now just so you know, I'm no like expert here. I'm just talking about the mods that I did to this car. This car is basically like getting the first car in a video game, a V6 Mustang, and then unlocking literally everything for it. So if you have a V6 build, there's almost nothing that you can do to it that I haven't already done, with the exception of pretty much headers and forged internals. Now since I have a Roush Mustang, let's start with talking about the mods that I got right out of the box for having a Roush. Now my car is a true factory Roush. It's one of like 400 I think, or something like that. And most of the mods are cosmetic, so let's talk about those right now. All right, so right off the bat, the hood scoop. It isn't functional, but it looks really good on a Mustang. Next up is the badging. We have Roush badging here, across the windshield, and on the back. We have the Roush spoiler. It comes with Recaro seats, Roush floor mats, dual Roush axle back exhaust, special wheels, but I've already swapped those out. The car is lowered, and on Roush suspension, you can see a little bit of that there on the blue. This whole front grille, and then when you open it, it has these little hydraulic guys here on the sides that also say Roush, so you don't need the little thingy that goes like that. The metal door locks, Roush pedals, Roush rear taillight. It comes with louvers that cover this quarter panel window, but I don't like how those look, so I took them off. And finally, plenty of people at car shows saying, that's a V6 Mustang, so that's fake Roush badging. It's not fake, I promise. Okay, level 1, just getting started. The first mod that I think anyone should put in their car, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this one, but just chill out because I know what I'm talking about. The pedal commander. Oh, you should get a tune, a real tune, something that actually adds power to your first. Shut up, listen. The pedal commander does exactly what it's advertised to do. Increase the throttle response time in your car. And if you drive an S197 Mustang like this, really any car for that matter, there is in fact a delay. You can't argue with me. Is there a ghost in here? Why did that door just slam shut? You can't argue with me that there is a delay from when you hit the pedal to when the car actually responds, and contrary to what you think, a tune cannot fix that problem. A tune is in the ECU and communicates with your engine. The pedal commander is what happens between your pedal and the ECU. Those are 2 different things. I know it doesn't change the horsepower, but it will change the 0 to 60 time in your car and the throttle sensitivity, which is a make or break item for me when racing V8s on the drag strip. And as long as I am shaving almost a full second or more off of my 0 to 60 time with that pedal commander, then it's worth it in my book. When you put a first mod on your car, most people want to get something that they can actually tell the difference of in how their car performs right off the bat. And at the low cost of, I think, about 300 bucks, this is the easiest way to make your car feel nice and jumpy off the line. And it doesn't void your car's warranty. It does not change your ECU. It will not affect your tune. It will not affect any of your other mods, and is completely compatible with pretty much every car that isn't drive-by-wire. And if you want a pedal commander, I'm going to put a link to it in the description below. And if you hate the pedal commander, it's probably because you're either losing races or you've never used it before. The next mod that you need is a cold air intake and a tune combo. Do these both at the same time. They're not that expensive. Make sure that you tune with a good tuning guy, because this will make or break the health of your engine. If you have a Mustang, I highly recommend MPT. Do not tune with Bama. Please don't do that. A cold air intake is gonna look a little bit like this. Kind of like an ice cream cone shaped thing. This goes to the Pro Charger, so kind of ignore this. Sometimes they come with like a box around them, but basically all that does is allow colder air to go into your engine and your car to breathe a little bit better. The other advantage with going with a great tuner like MPT is that every time you modify your car, every time you change anything about your car, you have to update the tune. You have to tell the engine, hey, you have new toys to play with. Bigger injectors, bigger fuel pump, whatever it is. So make sure that you update that tune every time you change a mod on your car. The next modification that I would recommend is an axle back or cat back system. This is bolt-on. I think it's about 500 bucks. Roush, hands down, makes the best exhaust system for the S187 Mustang if you want your V6 to sound at least somewhat similar to a V8. I get compliments on this car all the time, and the secret is literally just a bolt-on axle back system. Don't mess with the mid pipe, don't mess with the headers, don't do any of that. Leave it all stock. You don't need to unless you want to straight pipe it and get more power. I tend to think V6s sound like trash when you straight pipe them, so just do the axle back system, keep it simple. Next up is a set of wheels. I highly underestimated what a set of wheels can do for your car. I went with ESR. These are the RF15s in brushed silver. I think 20-inch diameter looks best on a Mustang. If you want to know more about picking wheel and tire size, I have a video on that already on my YouTube channel. I'll link it in the description below. And the last mod for basics is the marshmallow delete. You can't really see it, but somewhere in there, if you take this wheel off, you'll see this little marshmallow guy hiding underneath your wheel. I also have a video on my YouTube channel on how to get rid of that somewhere in the archives. So basically it's 2 hex screws. Once you take your wheel off, it's gonna be obvious where it is. Pop that guy off, it's gonna allow your car to sit back on launches, and it just helps, trust me. It's a delete, it doesn't cost you anything, just do it. Level 2, I wanna go fast. Do you wanna know what the next mod? My bad. Did I interrupt?
I interrupted, didn't I?
God dang it, Nate Ryder. You making TikToks or taking out the trash?
Both right now.
This is just YouTube house things. We're just, everybody's creating content like all the time. Look at our recycling bin. It's full of car part boxes. Thank you, Nate.
That's so bad, dude.
Who's hotter, Drew Peacock or Miley Cyrus? Next step is I wanna go fast. This is level 2. What's the first mod on level 2, Taylor? I'll tell you. It's gonna be, you guessed it, a new tune. As we're adding more parts on, make sure you update that tune or get one if you don't have one already. After that, do the drive shaft. For the love of God, do the drive shaft. Because so many of you guys that get Mustangs, you're like, oh, I'm gonna drive this thing like 140 miles an hour at the drag strip or whatever, I don't care. Did you know that this particular Mustang, GT, Shelby, V6, I don't care what it is, has a 2-piece drive shaft that will blow up. Your car has what's called a governor on it, which means it's gonna limit it to like, I think 150 miles an hour on this car. If you tune it, that governor usually goes away unless you go as fast as you want. If you have a 2-piece drive shaft in, it will blow up like a grenade and it's very dangerous. So replace it with a 1-piece aluminum drive shaft. You can get these on CJ Pony Parts. A good one is gonna be like $900 to $1,100. This is going to make your 0 to 60 faster. This is gonna help your MPGs. It's gonna help overall performance of the car, and it's not gonna blow up like a goddamn grenade underneath you while you're driving. And at that ending point, there's something called gears. This is gonna be your next upgrade. I'd show you, but you can't see the gears either. I go with 4.10 gears. Now there's different gear sizes. Some guys like 3.3, 3.7. Basically, the higher the number, the bigger your gears are. So think about it like riding a bike down a hill. You have gear 1. That's gonna be like your 4.10. And then you have like gear 6 on a bike, the little one. That's like a 2.8 or something. Stock in the Mustang. The bigger your gears are, the more torque you have in the lower end. So my car is built for dig racing, 0 to 60, 0 to 80. So I want the biggest gears that I could put in the back. A lot of people told me not to do 4.10. I regret nothing. They are so fast, it's ridiculous. It's a little overkill. 3.7 probably would have been a better idea. When you replace your gears, again, this isn't gonna change the horsepower or anything. All it's gonna change is the geometry of how your car reacts and where the torque is. So if you want more torque, like 60 to 150, go with smaller number. If you're like me and you want more torque from like 0 to 60, bigger gears. So 4.10 is what I have from Ford Performance. Next up is a little bit of suspension action. Front and rear strut towers. This is a very cheap and easy to install mod, and this is where the back one goes. All that's gonna do is make your car more rigid. It helps it corner, and this car needs all the help it can get on corners. Next step is something you can do in your backyard with a basic ratchet set, and that is a backseat delete. Backseat delete. Rip out your spare tire, rip out this whole piece. You don't need any of it. One of the fastest ways to make your car quicker is get rid of some weight. There's a lot of weight in the back seats. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be my friend's Uber, so that was a fast and easy way to making sure that we don't take my car anywhere unless I want to drive somewhere. Next up is my favorite, the R888R tire. Now, I severely underestimated the benefit of tires. I used to go with like something that was fairly cheap, and then I went with one of the most expensive tires you can buy, the Toyo R888R compound. These are good from anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 miles, so you gotta replace them a lot, but boy are they sticky. My car handled better, I could hook off of the line, all around the board. Handling, speed, 0 to 60, everything changes when you got good tires on, and your ability to stop the car, which is pretty important. So if I had to recommend a tire, I would put my life quite literally on the R888Rs. I will never run another tire on my car for as long as I live, and the tread pattern looks sick. Speaking of stopping the car, the next modification I'd recommend is the Brembo 4-piston brake setup and the GT500 rotors, which is this part underneath it, and the steel lines and the heat shield that comes with it. Stopping your car is something that a lot of people overlook, and I've had brake failure before that almost caused an accident that killed me twice. So I said, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna get the nicest brake system on the market. Things that I've learned after talking with a couple of experts in the Ford racing community, 4-piston Brembos are plenty for a V6 Mustang. You can get get the 6 pistons, but you're not gonna need it unless you're really, really heavy, like a GT500. You can get them on CJ Pony Parts. They come with the lines, the heat shield, everything you need, the pads, the rotors, and you can have a local shop install them for you. You also don't need them for the rear on your car. I have slotted rotors on the rear just because they look nice and a little bit of heat displacement, but other than that, it's not necessary to invest anything in your brakes on the rears because 95% of the stopping in the Mustang happens in the front. Just make sure that the wheels you have enough space for those Brembos because they're really big calipers and you gotta fit them underneath those wheels. We talked about it already, but my Roush has been lowered. I wanna say it's like 1.5 inches, and we have that tight Roush suspension on it. The tighter suspension helps it on corners, lowering helps with aero and handling. Next up is gonna be the oil catch can. I have one from BBK that I picked up on CJ Pony Parts. All this does is your engine, as it feeds air this direction into the intake manifold, sometimes oil comes with it. This basically separates the oil from the air, helps the health of your engine. This is a cheap mod. You can literally do it in a parking lot. Side note, if you're boosted, have your check valve here. And since we're in this area, this is a little bit overkill, but whatever. You'll notice there's no windshield wiper fluid here. I also don't have the windshield wiper spray guys here. That's because I ripped them out. I pulled all the lines, yanked them out, and took that whole container. I had to remove this wheel and this wheel well and just got rid of it. There's like at least 5-ish pounds of fluid hanging on the front there. I live in California, it never rains, I never need it, so I just got rid of it. Speaking of weight reduction, if you drive a V6 Mustang, you'll notice there's like a heat shield normally under this hood. I took that off. I checked with Bill over at CJ Pony Parts. He said he's never had one on any of his Mustangs. He just gets rid of it. If you look down right here, you'll see a red bar right there. That is my sway bar. Going back to handling, the biggest weakness of the Mustang is its handling. So anything I can do in terms of suspension or anything to make it more rigid and handle better on a track, I'm gonna get it. So I went with the BMR front sway bar. You don't need a rear sway bar. It's a waste of money on this car. Do the front sway bar. That's gonna help you out a lot more. All right, Miley Cyrus, are you ready for level 3? Money is no object and my car is my personality. What a weird photo. It's because this car's name is Miley, that's why. But before we go into level 3, I want to shout out 2 different places. Number 1 is Voodoo Autosport. This is the shop that literally does everything on my car, and they are responsible for just making sure that these mods go on right. So I'm going to put their handle right here, give them a follow. Everything you see on my car, if you love it, Voodoo are the guys behind it. And one more shout out is going to be, oh, I did not complete that wardrobe change. Ha! The Longtail Rally, baby. This is the best week of my entire life. Make sure you give these guys a follow. Their handle is gonna be right up here. Longtail Rally is like the sole biggest supporter of the Gearbox house. Me and Nate got to go on the Longtail Rally earlier this year, take our cars and push them to the absolute limit. I've never driven my car harder than I had on the Longtail Rally. 3,000 miles from like Laguna to Beverly Hills to Yosemite. We also stopped in Monterey and then we ended up in Vegas. We did a track day. Nate's GT500's brake failed. He almost went into a wall. It was awesome. So make sure you follow these guys again. They're huge supporters of the channel. Freaking do me a favor and just follow them because I see who follows them and you guys are awesome. I love you. Okay. Level 3. Let's get to it. Drew, when are you gonna move your trackpad? Okay, level 3, guys. Only venture into this zone if you're willing to spend literally every dollar you have and every minute you have trying to make your car insanely fast. We're gonna talk about boost, we're gonna talk about E85, we're gonna talk about ejectors, pulleys, intercoolers, cooling systems. It's gonna get a little crazy, but guys, I can't fit it all into one video. Relax, I'm gonna upload the next one like right after this one. So I'm gonna put it in a part 2. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. I'm gonna link part 2 in the description so you can find it really fast if you're following along. And we're gonna go into all the crazy mods that make this car really, really fast. Guys, I drop videos all the time on this channel. You got a lot of car content coming in 2022. So make sure you click that like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you at the next episode. Peace.
I'ma lie to you just to get through the night with you. Hope that's alright. No, you lie to me. It's